the April 9th, 2008 public hearing of the Board of Architectural Review. We appreciate everyone who is here this afternoon. The board was established by a zoning ordinance in 1958. Our first historic district was Gratz Park. We now have a total of 14 historic districts. The board, which is appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the Urban County Council, is part of the Division of Historic Preservation. This afternoon we have three members of the Board of Architectural Review who are with us, and I'll ask them to introduce themselves.
Derek Wingfield.
Jim Dickinson.
And I'm Clyde Carpenter. I'm currently the chair of the board. We also have members of the Office of Historic Preservation staff who are here this afternoon, and some of them will be taking part in the meeting as we progress through the hearing. The Office of Historic Preservation maintains a full-time staff to assist applicants with their projects. The board encourages and recommends that applicants use them as a resource. The Historic Preservation Office is located at 101 East Vine Street, room 220. It is our procedure to consider applications in the order in which they are listed on our agenda. In each case, we will have a presentation by the staff, and we'll hear any additional comments from the applicant. The board will then ask questions or make comments regarding the application, and then we will hear comments from any interested parties in the audience. The chair will then ask the board members to enter a motion. If you are here this afternoon and you want to speak to the board, or if you're an applicant, we would like to ask you to come down front and speak into the microphone. We would also like to ask you to write your name and address on the sign-in sheet, which is back near the entrance door, so that we can get the information correctly recorded in our records. This afternoon we have 5 staff approvals, which I would like to note. There are certain items that the staff can approve, and applicants who have projects in which the staff can grant approval do not have to appear before the full board. So we have 5 approvals, and I will read them into the record. There are 3 staff approvals in Aylesford Historic District today. 1, 552 East High Street, repair and replace shingles and reline box gutters. 2, 538 East High Street, repair and replace sidewalks. And 3, 320 Linden Walk, repair and replace fences. In South Hill Historic District, 1 approval, 380 South Mill Street, tuck point, repoint, and repaint building. In the Western Suburb Historic District, 1 approval, 632 West Short Street, replace a tree. We will now proceed with the review of applications for certificates of appropriateness. There are some items on our agenda this afternoon in which the staff has recommended approval as submitted, or approval with a few conditions. And if the applicants who are here agree with the findings of the staff and the recommendation, we can take action on these cases without having a full hearing. So I'm going to sound the agenda and see where we are with some of these applications. So the first item on the agenda, item number 1, in the Northside Historic District, 407, 409 West 6th Street, install a fence in front porch balustrades. Is the applicant for that?
Yes, sorry about that. Was Randy. I guess it broke just in time. My name is Ron Meese, and I agree with what they have listed on the. I read over it, and I agree.
Could you give us your address, please?
It's 407, 409 West 6th Street.
6th Street. So you agree with the
Yes.
with the staff? Okay. Okay. The staff recommended approval with some conditions as noted in the report about the height of the fence and
Yes, sir.
spacing and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they also would like for you to bring back some information to them so you can work with the staff on this. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make comments about this application? Okay. Hearing no comments, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval and issuance of the COA for 407, 409 West 6th Street, subject to the 5 conditions listed in the staff report.
And I'll second the motion. I'm under the impression there are other types of fences on the street that we're not adding in fences for the first time, just ornamental fences. Okay, I'm seeing Amelia's head nodding in affirmative. Okay, then I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Okay. The next item on the agenda, also in the Northside Historic District, also on West Sixth Street, 411 West Sixth Street. It's also to install a fence. Is that applicant present? You'll give us your name and address.
Carl Leonard, 663 Ellesmere Park.
Have you had a chance to read the?
Yeah, that's fine. I agree with
Okay, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's approval with four different items, okay?
Right.
Very fine. Okay, well, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make comments about this application? Okay. Hearing no comments, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the COA for 411 West Sixth Street, subject to the 4 conditions listed in the staff report.
Your
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Item number 3 on the agenda, also on the north side, also on West Sixth Street, 413 West Sixth Street. That's to install fence. And would you give us your name again,
Carl
please?
Leonard, 663 Ellesmere Park.
Okay.
And I read it and agree.
Okay, you're in agreement also. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Once again, is there anyone in the audience who would like to make comments about this application? Okay. Hearing no comments, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval and issuance of the COA for 413 West Sixth Street, subject to the 4 conditions listed in the staff report.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda is in Bell Court. It's item number 4 on our agenda, 611 East Main Street, paint the masonry garage. Is that applicant present?
The applicant is not present, but he has called and read the application we talked today, and he's agreed with the findings.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you are recommending approval because of the difficulty in removing the paint, of leaving the paint on the front of the garage, but not painting the other surfaces.
That's correct.
He's in agreement with that. Okay.
He is.
I did have one question about that. How do you all feel about the fact that the front would be painted and the rest of the garage would not be?
I think the issue is the fact that there's a tightness on both sides. This backs up to a property line and also backs up to another person's garage that is very tight to get in to paint the garage. And then also because there's not a huge amount of airspace, there's not a lot of breathing room for this building to have a breathability for that brick and for the vapor barrier to actually be able to breathe correctly. And so the other 2 surfaces, face areas, are not necessarily going to be treated the same way, have the same kind of weather increments as the others. And again, it is one of those things that with painted surfaces, we don't necessarily always recommend the painted surfaces, that buildings be painted. And so I think the reasoning for that is actually just for the care for the building and not, and the fact that it has less airflow on those sides.
Okay. Do you all have any questions? Okay. The staff.
I don't have any questions. I think, Amelia, you may have left out a word or two, or your third paragraph.
I'm sure I
the findings
have.
needs to be. I know
Thank you
did.
so much.
Sorry. Well, it's our official finding, is why I'm only saying something. I can fix this after the meeting, if you like. But I'm assuming that what you're trying to say is, typically, we do not recommend painting unpainted buildings because outbuildings of this type usually were not painted correctly, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
And also, typically, we don't want brick that's never been painted to be painted.
That's correct.
But in this case, although it shouldn't have been painted, it would do so much damage to take it off that it would be detrimental to the
It would
structure.
be very difficult, and they tried test patches, and flakes of brick were coming off, and so that would further deteriorate these 2 surfaces and walls.
Okay. Well, staff has recommended approval as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make any comments about this application? Okay, hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the staff's findings and recommendation to approve the certificate of appropriateness application for 611 East Main Street.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right, the next item on our agenda, item number 5, in the North Side Historic District, 316 Hampton Court. The application is to change an opening and to construct a balcony. Is the applicant present? Okay. If you'll be kind enough to give us your name and address, please.
Terry Kelly, I live at 435 West 3rd Street.
The staff has recommended approval with 3 conditions in the report. And have you had a chance to read those over?
I have, and we agree with them.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I do have a single question.
Okay.
This is for the 3rd floor of the
Yes.
building. If the same issue should come up for the 2nd floor, could that be treated as a staff approval if this one gets approved?
I'll have to ask.
It's not likely, but just if it...
No, each individual
would have to
balcony
be-
and, right,
Yeah.
that needs to be treated
Okay.
separately because it is a
Okay.
built
Yeah,
form.
I think,
I just thought it might seem-
although it's not a huge thing, I think it's sufficient magnitude, changing the appearance of the building, that you probably have to come back to us. But,
Okay.
But, there would be, there would be the 3rd floor balcony, and so that might, be a precedent, that we'd be following, but we'd have to
Okay.
look at it, okay?
Okay, I'll bring it up if I have to.
Okay, very good. Okay. Anyone in the audience care to comment on this application? Okay, hearing none, the staff has recommended approval with 3 conditions in the report. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the COA for 316 Hampton Court, subject to the 3 conditions listed in the staff report.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda, item number 6, in Aylesford Historic District, 127 Woodland Avenue. The application is to replace the garage and change the siding of the main structure. Is the applicant here for this? Give us your name and address, please.
Lynn Pettigo, 347 South Upper.
The staff has recommended approval of part of the application and tabling the rest of it. Would you want to talk to us about this? I mean, do you want to hear the case?
I don't think there's any need to hear the case. We do have to do additional study on it to see what's underneath the existing stuff that's on the
Different
house.
stucco. So you agree with all the other findings, and including perhaps doing something different than the fiberglass panels or,
Yes.
on the roof? Okay. All right. Okay, and then you'll come back to us when you want to consider the hardy plank and the stucco issue, I guess. Okay.
I'm willing to work with staff on any of the suggestions, especially about the slab and relationship to the driveway that's existing.
Okay, well, fine. Thank you so much. All right. Anyone in the audience care to comment on this application? Okay. Well, the staff has made some recommendations, which you can see in the report, and they basically recommended approval of the garage with some conditions, and then tabling the application, the portion of the application dealing with changing the material on the exterior of the house. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we table the portion of the certificate of appropriateness application regarding the change in the siding material to the main structure and approve the remainder of the application subject to the 3 conditions listed in the staff report.
We need a date to which that's being postponed.
Or tabled, yeah. Ms. Pettigo, when do you think you could come back? Our next meeting this month is April the 23rd, and then we have meetings in May, I think May the 14th, I believe, and May the 28th, I think, yeah. So do you have a date when you think you could come back?
I would say that we'd be ready by April 23rd.
April 23rd, that's 2 weeks from now. And of course, you have to get the stuff back to the staff, I think. And it would be about a week turnaround, I think. So do you think you can do that?
We've already contacted to
Okay.
try to get people over there to see.
Okay, fine, thank you. Okay. So we would be postponing until the 23rd.
We'll add that to my motion.
Okay. All right, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
I hadn't gotten to the second yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I was interrupted, and unfortunately, I think it just needs to be noted, since it's the finding that's justifying the recommendation that the existing structure be demolished, that I think we need to fix a sentence, and it's the first sentence. It should read, Martin, was this yours? All right. Martin, I'm going to read to you if you turn to page 17, I think what happened was you made us what was an introductory adverbial clause into a sentence. It should read, and if you disagree with me, tell me, it should read as follows. Although the existing 18 by 18 foot pyramidal roofed board and molded batten outbuilding having, insert the word A, driveway of 4 16-inch wide concrete strips as a glimpse of the past, comma, layers of the gravel within the structure cover what was once the sole plate, period. You see what you've done? You've made it into a sentence.
Okay.
Okay. And what is a sole plate? S-O-L-E.
The sole plate was covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
An additional correction needs to occur in the last sentence of that paragraph. It should read, the overall deterioration of the structure, comma, coupled with today's there's one other change. Second sentence, the bottom edge of the entire structure has dry, I assume you mean to add rot, and the walls are bowed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Third sentence is fine. Next sentence, the overall deterioration of the structure, coupled with today's desired use, makes the renovation of the existing garage, including the adjacent deteriorated tool shed, comma, impractical.
Okay.
All right. Demolition of this outbuilding is within the guidelines, period.
We can do that.
With those corrections, I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, the next item on our agenda, 460 East Maxwell Street. It's also in Aylesford. That has been withdrawn, and I don't believe you need to take any action on that. Okay, is there any other business? Okay, hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, move for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay.